Okay, so we're going to be doing a Zentangle project, and our subject matter is going to be either animals, something landscape oriented, or you could really even do something like a flower, anything along those lines. So you want to start thinking about what type of animal you would like to draw for our next project here. The example on the board is an elephant. It's a great example. If you look up the word Zentangle and then animals, you get a bunch of examples. You can even just turn any old animal that you find into a Zentangle as well. Okay, this is a Zentangle bird, eagle, hawk, whatever it is. Another nice example is a Zentangle dog. That was a good one as well. When you're looking for an image, if you're a little unsure of being able to draw it, I would highly recommend not drawing the entire body. Pick an image that is more focused on the head and maybe upper torso rather than the entire body. Okay, we have to draw these as big as possible on the paper. You really have to enlarge it as big as possible on the paper. We're not going to be tracing them. We're going to be sketching them as big as possible. So if you do have a printout image, it doesn't really matter what size it is. You're just going to have to draw it as big on the final copy paper as possible. Here's an elephant right there, full body. You can do full body if you really want to. That's fine. And the anglerfish, I thought was a cool idea right there as well. This is just like a Zentangle pattern slash maybe even flower, really highly detailed. Zentangle patterns are, well, before I get into that, and lastly, this is just the dragon, okay, but we're going to turn it into a Zentangle. Zentangles are patterns that are based off of the Chinese and Japanese idea of Zen, which has to do with focus and intense concentration. The Buddhist monks practiced this when they did their meditation, and they did many forms of art that incorporates these intricate patterns, which we're going to learn as well. This is a pattern sheet right here that we'll have as examples for you to look at. I also have another one that looks kind of like this. Miss Bramley has a bunch of these that you can hand out to you guys and look off of, or you can look off Zentangle patterns on your phones or print out your own pattern sheets as well. We're going to make a pattern sheet, and this pattern sheet's going to be worth 20 points. It's going to have a series of 12 different patterns on it. It's going to look kind of like this in the end. Okay, this is on white paper. We're going to do ours on 9x12 rough copy paper. So first off, take your 9x12 rough copy paper and you're going to hold it sideways and fold it in half like this. Okay, so I'm going to fold it in half like that. Okay, and then after that's folded in half, you're going to fold it in half again. So I'm taking it and folding it in half again this way. Okay, your piece of paper should look kind of like that. And then our final step is to fold this into thirds. We need to have 1 box, 2 box, 3 box there. So I'm going to take it right about there, and I'm going to kind of fold it over until I get something that's about equal to the space I have left over there. About that much is equal to what I have left over right there. I'm going to fold it there, and then if you just fold that over, you should have a square. If you really have trouble with this, okay, this folding and making these 12 different boxes, you can just grab a ruler. Okay, I don't have a ruler right here, so I'm just going to use like a magazine here. So, and you can just draw one, two, 3 lines across here like this. And then we'll draw 2 lines all the way across. So that's going to give you a total of 12 boxes. I'm just kind of drawing these lines on the folded areas here. Now, do they have to be exactly perfect? No, they don't. But, it's just going to make it look a little bit nicer in the end. And I guess this is going to be worth 20 points, so follow along closely. This is Zentangle Patterns Part 1. We're going to be learning 4 patterns today. So we'll do 4 patterns across here, or 4 patterns up and down, however you see it. Okay, so I'm going to start out with this top one right here, and kind of center it so you can see it here a little better. And you're going to make a checkerboard here. I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3 lines going up and down, and I'm just gonna make some boxes. So we're gonna draw 1, 2, 3, and maybe we'll draw 4 lines going across this way. We'll just kind of go like that. And it'll kind of go off the page a little bit, but I think that's for the most part gonna work out pretty good. So you're making a checkerboard first. Okay, so make a checkerboard. Try and make them even as best as possible. I'm gonna try and touch this one up and make it a little bit more even here, just so it looks better for the sake of demonstration here. You want them to try and be like squares, looking like squares as best as possible. So, all right, so I have that. Okay, and then your next step is going to be, after you have this checkerboard in place, is going to be in each one of these boxes, I want you to draw a smaller box in the bottom right-hand corner of each one of these bigger boxes. Okay, so I'm drawing a smaller box in the corner of each one of these guys. And our first pattern is called, kind of call it like an ice cube tray. Some people call it like a waffle type pattern. Okay, but it's going to create some depth. And if you want to go ahead, you can shade these into as well. You don't have to, but you can shade these in. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a pattern with the way that I shaded in. I'm going to make sure that these guys are shaded in, and then the next row I'm going to shade this row in. So it's make a row of ones that aren't shaded in, and then a row of ones that are. Okay, it's really up to you how you want to shade them in, but I'm just going to do it like this for the purposes of this demonstration. And this one that kind of goes off the page, you won't see them because they would be down here. Okay, so I have that. And then your final step is the third step of this pattern, is to take this corner right here and draw it to the corner of the bigger box. Okay, the corner of the small box to the corner of the bigger box, like that. So just go ahead and do that at this time, and you can see that the neater you are with this, the nicer it looks. It's going to create some depth and dimension and make it look a little bit more two-dimensional here. Okay, and I'm just going to have kind of some lines going off the page there like that to simulate that it's kind of going off there. And you know, I think it's going to look better if I just shade all these in, so I'm just going to take the time to shade those in. And that is your first pattern. Okay. All right. So number 2, the second one. So we're going to move down to this box right here. Okay, move down to this box. And we're going to make this pattern. Okay, so in this corner, draw 1 bar, okay, that goes all the way out to the corner over there. And then I'm going to draw another bar that goes out this way. And another one that goes out that way. Now you can make more of these. You know, I could make another one going out over here if I wanted to. Alright, and maybe I make another one possibly down there. But I'm just going to keep it like that for now. Okay, so it's stemming out from the corner, and they're just like kind of 2 double lines going out in a variety of different directions. Okay, now this one is going to kind of look like this in the end. It's going to kind of look like that, if you can see it. So within those bars, I want you to make some kind of like downward rounded lines like this. I call them like frowny faces. Okay, so you make some downward rounded lines, round those lines, and round those lines like that. Okay, I'm going to kind of zoom in so you can see that a little bit more. I'm going to make some matching ones over here, again kind of making them rounded and having them line up with the previous one there. Almost looks like bamboo. Okay, around those lines, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. And the same thing in this last one over here, rounding them. Okay, so now you got those bamboo type looking lines there. And then this is the last step. Most of these patterns are 3 steps. Okay, this next step is going to be making kind of like the opposite direction. In between this one and this one over here, I'm going to draw a kind of like a smiley type face. Okay, so I'm rounding it downward like that. And the more you really round that, the better this is going to come off. So really round those, okay, and they're going to kind of go in that downward motion in between there. Okay, so we're going there. And a small one in between there. Now, as you kind of already figured out, we're probably going to be doing the same thing in between here and here. So I'm rounding it downward, making that smiley face type looking lines. And you're getting that kind of like really like wavy type looking, maybe even like spider web. Some people call it like a spider web type pattern. Okay, and curving them all and connecting them together. Now this one really doesn't have a match, but it's just going to kind of go off the page. You want your patterns to kind of run into each other. It might be like a little bit showing up there possibly. You want to really fill that space. So I want to fill this open space even though there's nothing to connect it to. I want to kind of have it go off the page, and I'm just going to have them be kind of like half arches like that. Okay, so that is that's our second pattern. Okay, third pattern for today is going to start out like this. You're going to draw a line going across there, and then you're going to go down and then back across and then up. Okay, and you're going to repeat that pattern. We start it from here, we start it from right at that point, and we go across. Then we start it from this point right there and go down. Start it from this point, so you're just kind of jumping back just a little bit, going across, and then going up. Okay, repeat it again. Across, down, up, across, and then up. And keep going. Start it from back here. Okay, this is a pretty easy one, and it takes up a decent amount of space. I think it's one that everybody should be able to do. Okay, it kind of looks like stairs going inward. It can kind of also look like a camera lens if you do it a certain way. I'm going to flip it over and kind of show you another way to do it. You can kind of go like this, and you can kind of curve them like that. If you curve it, and then you curve it this way, and you curve it that way, and you curve it up, and you keep going, and I'll go across, and then I'll go down, and then I'll go over, and I'll go up, and I'll go across, and over, and then up, across, down, over, and up. And it kind of looks like a camera lens or like a really creepy eye in the end there. And that's what you get with that pattern. Okay, so that's like a little bit of the same type of pattern there, but slightly different with rounded lines. Okay, getting back to we have 3 patterns there. Fourth pattern right here. Fourth one's gonna be another easy one. Let's just do another checkerboard here. Okay, so let's go checkerboard. And this time I'm just gonna make like 4 lines going across, and we'll go 4 lines going up and down. Okay, so there's my checkerboard. Don't make too many of these, then it just takes too much time. So a lot of patterns start out with these checkerboards, and this one's very simple. You're just gonna make 1, 2, 3 lines going across, and then this next box you're gonna make 3 lines going up and down. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then keep that pattern going. Across, 3 lines going across, 3 lines going down. Okay, and then 3 lines going, 1, 2, and this third one would kind of just go right off the page right there. So I'm just gonna keep it looking like that. And then this next row, you just have to alternate them. These are going across, you want these to go up and down right here. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. You can kind of curve them a little bit if you want. Okay, and then this is gonna go 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then fill each one in. Kind of looks like a woven type pattern in the end. Another easy one that can just fill up a lot of space. Okay, but it's a little bit more complicated than just like a standard circular pattern. Most Zentangle patterns have like a couple steps to them. They're not just your basic like triangle, triangle, triangle pattern or square, square, square pattern. They have a little bit more detail to them and require a little bit more focus and precision. Okay, so that is your 4 patterns for the part 1 of the Zentangle designs. Okay, feel free to go back and look at these to break them down a little bit slower individually if you'd like. Thank you.